All right, Closer Nation, let's talk about 5 cringeworthy social media sales tactics. Shit that you guys, some of y'all, not all of you, but a fucking lot of you do this shit, and it's annoying as fuck. You must stop it. You gotta cut it up. You gotta knock it up. You get the shit the fuck. But before I get into those, let's talk about the history of social media selling. It's not like it's been that long, and I've been in it since day one. So I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. You know what I mean? So back in 2008, I started my journey selling on Facebook. And I had a MySpace prior to that, but I also had an ex-girlfriend who had a MySpace, and so I just started this whole Facebook thing. And the reason I started selling on Facebook wasn't because I was smart enough to go, hey, man, I should probably sell stuff on here. That was never the revelation that I had. It just happened by accident. It happened a few times before it went, oh, fuck this, I'm on to something here. And what I mean by that is I had this girlfriend, this wife, actually ex-wife, that divorced me while I was in prison. And when I got out of prison, I just wanted to, I didn't know that I wanted her back necessarily. I just wanted her to know that she done fucked up, and that was a low point in my life, but I know how to hustle and get it back. You know what I mean? Like, I want to prove somebody wrong. So I start posting me on social media with plaques from being top producer and trophies at the fucking company that I'm working for and shit like that. And people start hitting me up, and they're like, hey, you do mortgages? I'm like, fucking top producer. And they're like, well, maybe you could do our mortgages. Like, you're goddamn right, I could do your mortgages. And I started doing mortgages. This happened 2 or 3 times. I actually got some people I've known for a long time, Holly and Mandel, that I've known for a really long time from Allen. I got them on a TV commercial. They're a married couple. I got them on a TV commercial at TexasLending.com, like way before any of this influencer stuff was happening. And I was actually on a Texas Lending commercial too. And I was like, we got arms. And I didn't even have big arms back then. Not that I got big arms now, because I hang out with people with big arms. You know what I mean? So I don't feel like I got big arms. But compared to all those nerds that worked in the nerdery over there at Texas Lending, I have big arms, right? So we had these arms, which is an adjustable rate mortgage, if you're not familiar. Anyway, so few people start getting, they see that I'm top producer there, and then few of my friends, like people I'd known from like the neighborhood and from social circles that we were all connected to in the beginning on Facebook. Like right in the beginning of social media, it's like, I don't know you, we can't be friends on Facebook. We really took that friend shit seriously, and that's one thing. Let me put my tinfoil hat on here for a minute. That's one thing that I think was a setup from the beginning. In the beginning, if we're going to be friends on Facebook, that means you have to be friends with people in real life. Remember, that was the whole point of that thing. It was like, you had to go to college with them, or they be in the beginning, it was like you had to go to college with them and be in their yearbook. You had to be friends in real life. But then it became so overwhelming to verify who knew who and everything else with Facebook. They just let people follow celebrities and be connected. And we start calling everybody friends. But what you got to understand before I move forward with any of this show today is a lot of these people ain't your fucking friend. They're someone who clicked a button to accept a request from another online profile to connect with their online profile, not for your benefit, just so that we're clear. They didn't accept that friend request thinking that they're going to buy your shit, pay you, be your friend. No, they accept those friend requests thinking that you're going to consume their content and give them the ultimate currency, which they want, which is attention. Just so you know, just like when you send a friend request to somebody, you're not thinking necessarily that you want to read their stuff all the time, but you want them to read your stuff. If not, you would just follow them. You wouldn't send them a friend request, right? So we start diluting this word friend. And so a lot of y'all, you try to get friendly. And this is where the cringe part of this starts, is you try to get friendly. You think just because you read somebody's post, and I'm not talking about just me, right? Like this could go for anybody, your neighborhood granny, anybody that you're prospecting for life insurance, car sales, real estate, mortgages, it doesn't fucking matter, right? But you start to think that they know you because you know them, and because Facebook's neurolinguistically program you to think that they're your friends because that's the word they use to encourage the online profile relationship, we'll call it, right? The connection between the two. They start programming you to think you're friends. So the mistake a lot of salespeople make is they slide in somebody's DMs with some bullshit because they make the assumption that the other person thinks that they're friends too. So, for me, for example, I've got 60,000 people that follow me on Facebook alone. and I'm very grateful for all of them. They're awesome people. I wish more of them engaged, or I could get in front of more of them, but Facebook has their algorithm and they do their thing. But the people that I engage with on Facebook, I'm super grateful for. It's a great group of people. We have a good time on there. And what happens is we get to a point where you might read my stuff every day, and you might think, you might comment on my shit every day, and I might like your post, and I might reply occasionally, but there's so many people jockeying for my attention, it's hard to keep up with, and I'm a nobody. I'm talking about 60,000 followers. Imagine somebody with millions or multiple millions, imagine what they must. And so you slide in their DMs thinking that they know you, and you have to keep up with maybe a few hundred people on social media. They have to keep up with maybe a few 100,000, a few million people and their requests and everything. And you slide in their DMs thinking that they know you and they're your friend, and you've ruined that sales process from the beginning. Okay. So Facebook using the word friend really ruined a lot of people's perception on how sales are made, because salespeople, we think you sell to people that you know, like, and trust, right? So these are my friends. We're on Facebook. I'll fucking sell to them. They know me. I know them. And so you got to stop that assumption. You got to assume they don't know who the fuck you are. And let me teach you the word of the day, salespeople. Okay, you ready? The word of the day? Elaboration, right? And what that means is use your big words and spell the fucking situation out. Don't assume that they understand, acknowledge, or know. A lot of y'all just slide in my DMs, and I could read some of them. And a lot of y'all just slide in my DMs and you just say shit as if I know what the fuck you're even talking about, right? Let me give you an example here. This guy right here, let me give you a great example. He says, "Hey, Ryan, how you doing? Haven't talked in a while." I scroll up, in a while would be, what's the date on this? April 28, 2022. So this, and I've never replied to him. Okay, this is just somebody who's once a year in April apparently fucking slides in my DMs. Saw you online, got a question for you. Do you know someone who knows someone who has a church or goes to a Bintian island in the Philippines? My wife and I live out here trying to find a good church. And that's cool, but I don't know anything about the Philippines. I've never been there. I don't know if I got people there or not. It's not a country or a city, Cebu, that comes up on here. And, I don't know. But what I do know is as soon as I reply to this, he's going to ask me to buy something from him, right? And raise some money for the church. It seems like that's always the case, right? But this guy just assumes, like haven't talked in a while. Like never, we can't assume that we're friends like that. Now, he may have commented on my post or whatever, but I don't know this guy because we're busy, right? And I'm giving you guys a big lesson here, all right? So let's see. If I can find, I usually delete these. Okay, here we go. "Hey, Ryan, not sure if you're going to see this, but I'll try. Used to tour." Now, these are the used tos, right? There's a lot of used tos. "I used to tour with Guns N' Roses as Axl's personal assistant, and Air Supply as the person's assistant as well, as the band's personal assistant. I currently manage my kids' band, and I just moved from LA to Dallas. Been speaking and putting on large events for 17 years. I teach entrepreneurs to be rock stars in their business. I'm putting a small event this week, 125 people. If you could stop by and tell people, we wanted to get to know if you could stop by and tell people in exchange, I'd love to get a slot speaking on your MDM stage." So think about this guy. First of all, no fucking clue who he is. Second of all, I can only imagine this dude's fucking hair, right? Like if he was Axl's personal assistant, which is pretty fucking cool, in Starship, which is the Starship is the opening song for Cocaine Bear, I think, is that band, right? If you've seen that movie recently. And so, but this guy didn't tell me really anything other than I used to be an assistant. You know what I mean? Like, we got assistants here too, bro. I'm not putting them on. You think my assistant can go hit up Ed Milet and go, "Hey, I used to be Ryan Stewman's assistant. You want me to speak on stage?" Like, no. Right? So think these are just a couple of examples of people who think I know them, and I'm not shitting on these people. And I'm not saying don't DM me. Right? I love DMing me. Just elaborate so I know who the fuck you are and what you're up to, especially if you're trying to sell me on something. And know your worth. In a sense of, if you're trying to get me to come by and speak to your 125 people, first of all, I charge a fee for that, right? That's like what I do for a living. And second of all, you want to give me 120 people in exchange for a couple of thousand people on my stage. That's not a fair trade, especially for someone I don't know that used to be an assistant. So I'm just saying, these are the kind of sales pitches that we got to deal with. This shit's cringy. I know y'all are listening to this going, that is kind of cringy, bro. It's a little fucking weird. Yes, I know. But chances are a lot of you out there listening do this because you have made the psychological connection that you're friends with these people because it's been geared the word over and over and over and over and over in your mind and online. That's not the case, okay? So, number one, cringeworthy social media sales tactics is the cold DMs, just like what I'm talking about. But I'm not against cold DMs, right? We have a process called the Lucky 7 and Social Recon in our Apex program. And if you use Lucky 7 and Social Recon, cold DMs are fucking strong and powerful, right? Cold DMs are like Guinness beer, baby, right? Strong and fucking powerful with a thick head on it. You know what I mean, mate? So here's the deal, right? Cold DMs with no rapport is the problem. This guy, hey, yo, I used to be, now, first of all, Guns N' Roses, I'm like, huge fan, biggest rock band in the fucking world of all time. And a lot of people don't know this, but they have sold damn near as many fucking albums as Michael Jackson, right? Like the story about Guns N' Roses, when they played, like Geffen gave them the tape to play, the video to play on MTV, Welcome to the Jungle, and MTV did not want to play it because they said it was too heavy at the time, and they did not want to play it. They said it didn't go with pop culture and the things that they were putting, so they put it on at like 1 in the morning to make fucking Geffen Records happy. When they put it on at 1 in the morning, around then, you'll have to look this story up, the phones at MTV rang so much the circuit boards melted. True story. You can fucking look this up. And it caused a fire in the studio. That's how fucking badass that band was, right? But I don't give a fuck about their assistant. Now, if the assistant could connect me with Axl, I'm in, right? But this guy didn't build any rapport. And he said, oh, I help entrepreneurs become rock stars. How? Doing what, right? Anybody could be like a rock star entrepreneur or whatever the fuck. I think we even got podcasts named that and shit like that, right? But what do you do? Instead, so I'm not just going to bitch about this shit. I'm going to give you the what, right? So the cringe is a cold DM with no rapport. You know, cold DM's like, hey, motherfucker, you know me. You should buy my shit, right? I get that all the time. It's like, hey, Ryan, you don't know me, but I highly suggest you buy this from me. It's like, what? It's so fucking weird, okay? Instead, you build rapport. And I'm not going to teach you the Lucky 7 method today, but I'm going to teach you a little bit about what we call social recon to make your life easy. If you want to cold DM somebody, it's totally okay. I am a believer in the cold DMs. But it's not going in with no rapport. It's not going in and asking for the sale. Like dudes don't get laid when they just show up and they ask you, you looking to bang tonight? That's not how it works, right? You gotta be nice to her and buy her a drink and you know, slip some I'm just kidding. And then you gotta be nice to her and buy her drink, buy her dinner, take her out on a date. You know what I mean? Just depends. There's a courting process before you get consent to have sex with somebody, right? It's the same in the sales process. There's a courting process called building rapport. Same thing when you're sexual relationships too, by the way, guys. There's a courting process, building rapport, and while there's no, sales rape drug, right, there is the ability to build rapport with somebody and get to know them before you just blast them with, so you won't buy my shit. That's no different. Like, unsolicited sales pitches are number 2 behind unsolicited dick pics. I'm just saying, right? Number 1, most offensive thing in the world to get is a dick pic, especially if you're a man, right? Number 2, most offensive thing to get is some fucking cold, non-rapport building, fucking spam sales pitch, okay? It's fucking annoying. It's a waste of time. It never works. Take note, people in India, right? Y'all be fucking in Pakistan. Y'all be hitting us up the worst, I will gladly do your video. It's like, fuck, no. I don't even know you. You don't even give me proof of videos. Anyway. So how do you fix this? How about this, guys? I know this is some motherfucking revolutionary information here, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the person that you're going to cold DM, okay? There's this thing in life, right, where if you can do it or you could do it the right way, right? Like, you could do a job and then you're going to have to do it again if you do it half-ass. Or you could take a little bit longer the first time and do it the right way, and you never have to fucking do that job again, okay? I built a road on my ranch. And the way that we built this road, I'm never going to have to build a road again. A lot of farmers, they just drag a land plane to build a road behind their tractor, and they're having to drag that land plane 2 or 3 times a year, at least every couple of years, depending on if they got good dirt or not. It's constant work for them. I built it one time, took me longer, a little bit more money. I'll never have to fucking deal with it again. It's as good as the road the county's got going out there. Now, I say that because what I'm going to teach you is going to take a little bit, But if you do it this way, it takes a little bit longer than normal to just spam people, but it works. So you go to someone's profile and you act interested in what they have going on. You like read their post and see what kind of shit that they're into. That's called reconnaissance, right? Like the Marines recon, right? And you see what they're into. And let's just say that you see them make a post about, their kids' school. I don't know. A lot of people talk about their kids in school and shit. You slide in their DMs, and instead of, hey, here's an unsolicited sales pitch, dick pic coming soon, right? Instead, you're like, hey, I saw that your little girl was in choir and that she got the award and stuff. It's really cool to see other people in your position being good parents and spotlighting their kids. We got to protect our kids at all costs. It's awesome. My kids go to school too, and I think a lot about them. What do you think that the future is? Are we going to end up homeschooling them, or are we going? You start the conversation off building rapport. Right? And you ask questions. Don't just dump a bunch of statements. Like, notice everything that I told you here from those DMs. Notice they were all statements. There's nothing for me to reply to if you're fucking telling me shit. And listen, let me tell you, I got ADD and I'm an asshole and I don't like being told what to do. Matter of fact, the way my whole staff works is they got to make me come up with their ideas so the fucking thing works around here, right? It's the same way at my house and everything else. So if you're telling me what to do, you fucking for sure don't stand a chance. So use question marks. Right? Question marks do what? They elicit responses. So do some social recon question marks. Number 2, sending me email spam because I accepted your connection on LinkedIn. You motherfuckers got to knock this shit the fuck off immediately. I like to accept requests on LinkedIn because I'm not there and I don't give a fuck, right? There's a shitload of spam DMs. They are the worst on LinkedIn. The spam DMs that you get over there, that's what I left the platform for. Now, I'm there. I've got a social media team that manages it for me. So, I have content going out and distributed, and I'm sure they reply to fucking messages or whatever the fuck, but it ain't for me, okay? It's annoying. But you can go into your contacts, and I don't know why I'm telling you fuckers this, but you can go into your contacts and you can download an XLS spreadsheet of everybody that is your contacts' email on LinkedIn. Fuck, I should have not have told you all that. Beep this out. So go in there and delete my motherfucking email address from this shit first before you do this. But really, truthfully, let me give you some game here. This is a horrible way to get people, because when I see this come in from somebody, when I see an email come in, especially if it's from Constant Contact or some shit like that, I know that I'm not opting in to Jerome's fucking life insurance program. I know I didn't opt in to see Tracy's merchant processing account fucking webinar, right? Like, I know that. So when you're sending me these emails and I see your name and I can look on LinkedIn and go, this motherfucker, first of all, I'm disconnecting. Second of all, I'm reporting your shit as spam. I am, because I didn't ask for it. I didn't fucking opt in on it, and you should be fucking punished accordingly, right? And third of all, like, that's not rapport. Rapport's not like, we should know each other on LinkedIn, and you should ask me for my email address and then invite me that way. You shouldn't just like, oh, they accepted my address, let me rip the thing up and then just start spamming them. That's not how you sell people. That's how you repel people. That's how you tell people that you don't want to fucking do business with them. So what's the solution? You take that XLS list from LinkedIn, which are 10, 20,000 connections, and you go over to Facebook with it, and you upload it into your ads manager. And then you run a lookalike audience on top of that from your ads manager, and then you run advertising to those people. That's your solution. If you've connected with your Dream 25 type of people, if you don't know what that is, you got to get your ass in Apex. If you've connected with your Dream 25 type of people and you've gone over to LinkedIn, you've exported that list, you're going to want to run ads to those people. That ideal audience is your LinkedIn list. Marketers, listen to me. If you've done your job right and you've connected with people in your industry and people that can send you referrals and shit on LinkedIn, right, that spreadsheet isn't to be spammed through email. What a fucking waste, and what a way to repel people. Instead, put that shit in Facebook, put it in Google, upload it, make a lookalike audience, then start running your ads to that. That is your ideal clients all in one. It'll add the people that are on that list as well if you fucking run ads to them. Then you're not invading their inbox, which is their privacy, their personal space, right? You're not knocking on their front door trying to sell them some shit when they didn't ask you to come in their yard. Instead, what happens, they're in a news feed and they start to see your ad. And they start to see your ad again. They see your other ad because they're retargeting them. Then when they go to Google, they see your ad again. Then you start to build familiarity so that if you did slide in their DMs or whatever the case may be, now they know who the fuck you are. Number 3, asking for social media connections without reciprocation. Okay. So you slide in and you're like, this guy, who do you know that can, I get all the time, hey, I've got a program and I've got a business and I'm looking for funding. Who do you know that could fund my business? Like, bitch, first of all, tell me your name. First of all, hi, I'm Ryan. Have we met before? What the fuck, right? But I get shit like this all the time. People wanting my connections. Now, first of all, do you know how hard I work to make these connections? Do you know how much money I've spent to make these connections? Do you know how much integrity I've upheld to keep these connections? And I don't know you. And you probably have not done any of those things if you're sliding in my DMs. And I'm just supposed to hand off people that I've worked hard and trust, take care of, reciprocate with. I'm supposed to hand them to you with no reciprocation whatsoever. Oh, thanks for the money. Fuck off. That's what you're going to tell me, right? Maybe you don't say fuck off. You pretend like we're friends or whatever, but we really know what time it is. You didn't even take the time to introduce yourself. You didn't even take the time to build rapport like we keep going back to here. And instead, you want me to open my Rolodex. Let me tell you about my friend Dan. Dan charges, he's done this charity thing for the last couple weeks. He's charging $100,000 for people to coach with them, which is a pretty good bargain because he says you get access to his Rolodex. I'd pay it, but I already have access to his Rolodex anyway because he's my friend. However, if I was somebody, I would pay Dan. If I was somebody who didn't know Dan, I would pay Dan $100,000 easily to get access to his Rolodex. But I know Dan's not going to give it to you for free. I got access to his Rolodex, not because I'm Dan's friend, but because I've worked for him for free for 4 years now. And what I mean worked for him is I've spoken at his events. I've shown up at his parties. I've donated to his charity. I've done all the things that you're supposed to do to build rapport with someone that's on a high level like that. For them to open the road. Like I didn't just meet Dan and Dan's like, yo, bro, whatever the fuck you need, I got you, man. These connections that I work for in Hollywood my whole entire life that I base my reputation on, they're fucking yours. That's not what happened. What happened is we get to know each other, and over time, me putting in the work and proving myself, it's like, hey, man, my Rolodex is open to you. Same with a lot of high-level people that you look up to and follow on social media. I have access to their network, their Rolodexes, and all that stuff, and as do they mine. But they wouldn't share that with anybody else, but I've had to put in the work for them to get that access. So stop asking for fucking connections because the truth is if your network is your net worth, then I'm protecting my net worth from people that want to be in my network that don't belong. Because if my network is my net worth and then you come in and corporately raid that motherfucker and then my network isn't as good anymore, then my net worth isn't going to be as good either. You got to protect your neck, son. Wu-Tang Financial, you know? Number 4. Tagging us in your motherfucking post. Man, you see somebody and they tag 75 fucking people in some advertisement post, you know, like motherfuckers always in some kind of, contest, or D magazine contest for best business of the year. And then you tag 75 of us. Way to make us feel fucking, and we know what you did, bitch. You just went through the 75 motherfuckers that were the first ones to float down that thing that would let you like tag them or whatever. You didn't even strategically fucking pick us. And you didn't build rapport, especially if we don't know you. Like if I know you, like my friend Dan, I was just talking about if he tagged me and 75 people, be like, all right, you get a pass. You've done a lot of good stuff for me. If I don't know you and you tag me and 75 people and you're throwing an event or selling some bullshit or asking for referrals or whatever, I never sent you nothing. You're not going to get nothing. Your ass will get reported. I don't report people that tag me. But it is annoying. I also don't do business with them if I don't know them. You know, you tagging me and now if you quote me and tag me, it's cool. Awesome. I love it, But like, again, if you're doing some kind of sales pitch, hey, come get a life insurance quote for me today, and you tag me and 75 other fucking people that you think that we're going to post it on our wall so you can scam business from us. That's sleazy as fuck's cringy. Cringy. It's cringy. You know what I'm saying? It really is. So knock that shit off. If you don't know a motherfucker, don't tag a motherfucker. It's that simple. Last but not least, is spam commenting on people's posts. Now, listen, there's the bots on Instagram, right? There's the bots on Instagram, and let me go back for a second to number 4 because I'm gonna give you a solution to number 4 here. Instead of tagging 75 people, slide in 75, like slide in 5 people you know's DMs and ask them to make a post about it. Like good friends. ask them to make a post about it. Hey, would you mind making a post about this? I'm trying to we're good friends. I love you. You know, that one time I gave you a blowjob behind the bench, you know what I'm saying? Behind the bleachers, I'm calling that favor due. You know what I'm saying? You got some people that owe you some favors sometimes. But the bottom line is, reach out to people you know and get them to post for you. It's going to be so much more stronger and so much more of an organic thing than if you piss off 75 people because you're trying to win a contest. Number 5 is people that spam comments. Like let's say I make a post and I'm like, join Apex. It's great. You should be a part of it. Here's the link. And then there's people in the comments is like, don't join that. Here's my program instead. It's half price. Hey, I coach people too, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's cringy as fuck. First of all, it's cringy to all of us. Like, not just me. I could give a fuck. You're not going to scrape my audience. Anyway, I'm not scared of losing my audience, but it looks bad to you because, like, what kind of hustler or what kind of effective marketer, business person, entrepreneur is, like, out there like a homeless person with a sign begging for fucking business on somebody else's post, right? That's weird. Instead, I'm going to give you the game here. I'm going to regret this. Instead, don't spam your shit on the post. Build rapport. That's right. Reply to the comments and actually have a fucking conversation with people and get to know them so they send you friend requests and they start DMing you and shit instead of just spamming them with some motherfucking shit that don't work. How about you get to know people? You see, all of this goes back to just building rapport, just being a good human. And the number one golden rule of social media selling is treat people online exactly how you would treat people offline. You wouldn't just show up to somebody sitting at Starbucks and sit down with them and go, you know, I was hoping that maybe you know somebody that could invest in my fund, right? Like that's not how we typically, some of you are weird like that, but most of you, that's not how you operate, but yet you kind of do the same thing on Facebook. You slide in people's DMs you don't know, which is just like sitting down at their table and you ask them for shit then they don't owe you. Build rapport. If there's one thing that you can do in sales, and look, and rapport doesn't necessarily mean that they like you. I do business with people that I don't necessarily care for. I do business with a lot of people I wouldn't kick it with. You know, doesn't make them bad people. They're just fucking boring. But I do business with a lot of people I wouldn't kick it with. So I don't have to agree. I do business with a lot of people that are politically averse to me and aren't in the same religion that I'm in. And a lot of those are from the same country I'm from, don't have the same ideologies I do. I still do business with them. We still have rapport because when it comes to doing business, I trust their opinion on that. So 5 things: DMs with no rapport, spam emails because you exported the damn LinkedIn connection list, asking social media connections, asking for a hookup with somebody and you ain't even got the ability to reciprocate or know that person, tagging a shitload of us in your post, stop it, that's fucking annoying. And then lastly, commenting your sales pitch on someone else's post in the comments, knock it off, all right? Listen, if you want to get better at sales, if you want to have marketing policies and marketing structures and ways to generate leads, advertising skills, and the stuff to where you can bring folks in wanting to do business with you, I highly recommend you join Apex. You can find out all the details about the network, the benefits and everything else over at jointheapex.com. And with that, see you next week.